he almost didn't notice it. The wallet was half frozen into the sidewalk. Inside were $3 and a letter written nearly 60 years ago. He had no idea that picking it up would change 2 lives forever. The envelope was fragile, yellowed with time. It began simply, "Dear Michael." The handwriting belonged to a 16-year-old girl named Hannah. She wrote that her mother wouldn't allow her to see him anymore, but at the very end, she added one sentence: "I will always love you." No last names, no return address, just 2 first names and 60 years of silence. Most people would have dropped the wallet at a mailbox. He didn't. One phone call led to another. An old address, a former homeowner, then finally, a nursing home. "Yes," the voice on the line said softly. "Hannah lives here." It was late. He drove anyway. She was watching television in a quiet lounge. Silver hair, gentle posture. When he handed her the letter, her hands trembled.
"I know this letter. That was the last one I ever sent him."
She never heard from Michael again. She never married.
I loved him, and I never stopped. If you ever find him, tell him I still do.
In the elevator downstairs, a staff member noticed the wallet. "That looks like Mr. Goldstein's." His heart skipped. "Who?" "Michael Goldstein. He lives here, 8th floor." 60 years. One building. 8 floors apart. He was reading when they found him. He laughed when he saw the wallet. "I lose this thing all the time." Then he heard her name. Hannah? He never married either. He thought she had forgotten him. He was wrong. They stood there for a long moment, not speaking, not moving, just looking. Michael was the first to break the silence. "I wrote back." Hannah's expression changed. "You didn't." "I did. Twice." Both letters were returned. Her fingers tightened slightly around the edge of her chair. "I waited. For months. I thought you chose to leave, and I thought you did." Neither of them had been abandoned. They had simply stopped trying at the same time. Not because they didn't care, but because they were young, proud, afraid of being the only one still holding on. They sat down, closer now. Michael looked around the room. "You've been here long?" he asked. 8 years, she said. He nodded slowly. "I've been here 11. They both paused. 3 floors apart, for almost a decade. Eating in the same dining hall, attending the same holiday events. Living inside the same building, without knowing. without looking. That realization landed heavier than the years. Not the 60 years, the last 10. So close, and still separated. The man who found the wallet stood quietly near the doorway until Michael turned to him. "You did this." He shook his head. "I just picked something up." But he knew that wasn't true. Sometimes picking something up means lifting a story back into motion. In the weeks that followed, they began again. Slow walks in the hallway, shared breakfasts, sitting side by side in the television lounge, not trying to recover youth, not trying to reclaim lost time, just choosing not to waste what remained. One afternoon, Michael asked her something simple. If we had known, would we have done it differently? Hannah smiled. Maybe, she said, but then we wouldn't be who we are now. There was no regret in her voice, only acceptance. 3 weeks later, the nursing home hosted a small ceremony. Not grand, not dramatic, just warm. The staff stood in a circle. A few residents wiped their eyes. And the man who once found a frozen wallet on a sidewalk stood beside them as witness, not to youth, not to destiny, but to timing finally catching up. When they said their vows, they didn't promise forever. They promised today and tomorrow and whatever remained. After the ceremony, Michael leaned toward the man who found the wallet. "You gave us back something." The man shook his head again. "No," he replied. "It was always yours." 60 years passed, 10 of them in the same building. Sometimes love doesn't disappear. It waits, even when we don't realize it's already close.